Hi, welcome to yet another video. If you're new here, welcome to my channel where I draw a bunch of art related stuff, and you could either learn new stuff or not. I don't know, it's up to you. Today's video is going to be different from what I normally do here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out my other videos on my channel, and also appease the gods above by liking, sharing to your friends, and comment what you'd like to see more on this channel in any of the videos, including this one as well. At the same time, subscribe to stay tuned for more. Alright, let's talk about hot anime men. You know, 2D men. The non-existent men we simp for, dream about, talk about, drool over. You know, the latest naughty in the mind. Yeah, the non-existent men that we all love and simp for in both animes, cartoons, mangas, manhwa, and of course, our unashamable favorite. Yeah, don't judge me. Anyways, these very attractive 2D men have made drastic changes in our lives. They made our standards so high. Too high, very high. High. Basically, our standards are possibly beyond sky limit. We're talking about over the top galactic level. And that's why we are basically single AF. Lil. Today's video is dedicated to these men and how we are going to draw them. Alright, so let's start off by understanding the facial structure and anatomy of a hot anime man. But before I continue, I refuse to be that artist who tells you not to use references. Please gather references to create your perfect anime man, even if you have an idea of him in your head. It serves as an easier guide for you. Now, hot anime men possess the following features. Number 1, a hot hairstyle, which is why I said use references to get the exact hot hairstyle that you need for your hot anime guy. Number 2, sleek, slender, sexy, meltable eyes. Those eyes that make you wanna when you stare at them. Yeah. Number 3, simple nose, according to your style, of course, but it must resonate perfection. Number 4, juicy, kissable lips. So juicy that you want to kiss the out of it. So hard. Number 5, a perfect jawline. Number 6, a thick neck and broad shoulders. Alright, get your tools ready, get your tabs ready, get your apps ready and your references, and let's begin. Okay, just a little heads up to the fact that I am using my phone to currently draw on IBisPaint with my Huion HS64 graphics tablet, and we're about to begin drawing our hot anime man. So we begin by selecting a brush. I think I selected I had a proper sketch brush that I had already made myself. You can use the dip pen brush or the soft brush and start by drawing a circle and the guidelines that you need to use in order to draw. I don't really have a special form of guidelines. I used to draw the head shape and the jaws. I've heard of different methods, Loomis method and so forth, but you know, basically anyways, trying to draw the thick neck size now because you are trying to understand that the anime man must have a thick neck. Unlike women,
where their necks are tiny and slender and adorable, as usual. I'm flipping the canvas because I heard from so many videos I have watched as well that, you know, flipping the canvas also does help in balancing out the anatomy or something, so it wouldn't look like some sort of a backward drawing or some sort of, I guess. I don't know. I heard that from the video. I'm not really sure. But yeah, the tip helps. Okay, so at this point, I erased the guidelines and I redid it again so that I could properly, you know, place the shape of the eyes. I've always struggled trying to draw male eyes, especially trying to make it all slick and slender. But, you know, it's worth a shot. So I'm drawing in the eyes and the eyebrows itself. So it's probably going to take a lot for me. But yeah, we're all struggling together, so just get used to it. Yeah, just pointing this out quickly that I'm not really a teacher. We're all struggling in this together, so we're hoping for the best. And I did apply a reference. I did get the idea from reference, but this is basically a character that's from my head as well. So right now I'm working on the eyelids and the eyebrows itself. I didn't want his eyebrows to be so bushy. I forgot to mention that as also a tip. Majority of male anatomy have either thin eyebrows or bushy ones, but it depends on you. It depends on what you want for your character, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I kind of also duplicated the eye because I love to cheat and I really don't have the power to actually draw the second eye. We'll do that in some other video, I guess. Simple nose, but it must bring out perfection. And now we're on to the juicy lips. So basically it's just a simple, you know, oval-like shape and a little upside down C or flat horizontal C. Basically, the eyes were kind of looking awkward, so I had to flip that as well. Oh yeah, I think at this point I actually forgot that I flipped the canvas, so it does kind of help when you actually do flip the canvas sometimes. So if you are drawing any character of any role, do try flipping the canvas. You know, it corrects your drawing both ways. So yeah, at this point I'm working on the ears. I'm not really perfect at drawing ears basically, so I'm just gonna do a simple ear design, at least something that looks similar to an ear. I'm not doing a realistic ear. We're freaking drawing a mono character, for God's sake. Leave me alone. So at this point, you should have drawn every single feature except the hair, so you probably should be having like a little Saitama in front of you. So yeah, moving on. Just try to clean up the sketch, refine the layers, and flip it to see if it looks at least semi-normal or semi-human. Go on. Hey, fun fact, I am also still learning some tips on male anatomy as well. I'm not really an expert. I don't really know how to draw male anatomy body wise. So that's pretty much something new to learn because, you know, I'm applying it to this man that I'm making, you know, shirtless or probably naked in my mind. But yeah, let's just add that for a fact. Yes.
So then, why?
Yeah, at this point of the drawing, I had already prepared a character for a little project I'm working on later, and I decided to just, you know, use him as the idea point. I arranged, you know, a guideline of how I drew his hair. From the previous reference, I actually got the hair in the previous drawing. That is the reference right now. So I used the red guidelines to guide how the hair is gonna go. I'm not really seeing it that much, but it's something similar to how his hairstyle is gonna be. So let's just say this profile is basically a zoom in on his face, a more refined drawing of what my special character for my special project looks like. So yeah. Yeah, so what I like to do is draw the hair I want on my characters on a different layer. Then if it fits, I would go back to the Saitama looking layer and clean out the head shape. So it would look like, you know, the hair is pretty much attached to his head. Then merge the layer down. So it's I guess I just dropped a tip for y'all. You could do that as much as you like. So at this point, I decided not to do a line art layer because I was that lazy. So I just cleaned out the extra sketches that made it look messy, and I went straight into coloring the skin of my character. And so far, he's looking kind of dreamy to me. If he's not looking dreamy to you, go get to go draw your own. So you're probably wondering what brush I'm using to color. I advise that if you just got the app, you should pretty much use the dip pen soft brush to just color in the base. And the base should be the layer underneath the sketch layer. I'm not mentioning that, so create a layer right underneath your sketch layer and color it in. Then make sure you color in between the lines, kids. Color in between the lines. Do you understand? I'm using a custom brush. I believe I'm using a custom brush at this point, but I advise that since you are using this app, or basically maybe a genius more than I am, go ahead and use the dip pen soft brush or the hard brush to color it in. So now you're going to create a new layer and you're going to color in the hair. So the skin color, that's the base color, and the hair color are on two separate layers. You're not coloring them together in the same layer. Please try to name your layers so you won't get confused. Create another layer and color in the white part of the eyes. We're going to color in that first before applying any other color to it. Alright, so I didn't want to use this method where I'd have to create a clipping layer and change the blending mode to multiply because it wasn't giving me the vibrancy I wanted. So today we're going to talk about the color wheel, while the inner one is the hue, inside the value, and the saturation. Okay, with that being said, I'm not going to select colors from the value because it's going to make the work look completely muddy and I don't really want that effect right now. So I'm going to take colors more from the saturation side, right? Play with the hues a little bit, then take it from the saturation side. So you go over the shading with your airbrush tool, okay? Take your airbrush and do the shading. Increase your airbrush size a little bigger so that the first shading would be a little softer, while the second one you reduce it and focus on the corners that need a little more darkening. And if you want to get a darker color, you just play with your color wheel again, just go scale around and get a darker but the same shade but a little bit darker. Just don't cross over to the values and shade in the corners that you need. So now we have shaded these voluptuous, kissable, juicy lips, and of course this simplified nose that we have drawn. All you just need to do is shade the bottom part of it and just give it the shadow that it needs to define the fact that it's a nose. So you're still on the airbrush tool basically on this one. Alright, so just go around, find the corners that need more darkening and go ahead with it. Right, so for the second layer I created another different layer for the darkest part of the shading. You're not applying this type of shading everywhere, just on the more crucial corners where you really want to bring out the shadows in the work. So just create another layer. I set it to multiply this time because, well, I'm a cheater. It's not really a cheat, it's actually just, you're trying to, define the darkness a little more, and maybe I wasn't really satisfied with the colors from the color wheel, so I just went straight back to my normal multiply and made sure I went with it. So I went back to the first layer and went to my eraser tool
eraser was set to a normal dip pen soft brush, and I decided to erase out extra parts of the shading just to give it a little more shaping. So you can do that, but you know, most people don't really do this, but I just felt it was more comfortable for me. And I created another layer on top, completely going back to the top for the highlights. And I got the highlight color from my color wheel as well, not from the values saturation, but you know, you're going towards white basically. So same airbrush as usual, same airbrush, go over the highlights, the parts of the work that needs a highlight, and color it in specifically. So I will probably create a video later on that talks more about lighting and shadows if I get to understand them a little more better than what I know now. So yeah, and give your little lips a little bit of defining to bring out that juiciness that you need. So right above the white eye layer, you're going to create a clipping mask, and you're going to color in the pupils, which is basically any color you want. I chose lime green because why not? He's dark, so I'm going to use lime green. And you're going to create another clipping mask on top of this eye layer as well, and shade in the dark parts, as well as create another layer to shade in the light parts that it needs, just to give it that gradient look from dark to light, basically shadows and everything. So you're going to go to your hair layer, create a layer and clip it to the hair layer, and you're going to begin to bring out the highlights of your hair. This hair is similar to black, so it depends on, well, I didn't do a darker shade, I just went straight to the highlights. And I am using, well, a dip pen soft brush basically to shade out the highlights. I'm not using the airbrush yet. I applied the hairbrush where the hairline is supposed to be. That's the side. Basically, I applied the airbrush there to make it look gradient. You probably see it in a few, but that's where I mostly applied the airbrush in the hair shading. So I'm going back to my drawing again. I'm checking out what really needs more additional highlights in the skin. You choose a brighter color as well. You can as well, if you want it to look like it's shiny or glowy, you can play with the blending mode and use either screen or add. It's up to you. Adding the finishing touches, the finishing highlights to make the art pop. Rounding it up, signing my name, and I am done.
Oh my God!
Alright, we have reached the end of today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around, and thank you so much for watching. If you have learned something today, please leave your comments in the section below. If you also have some extra tips as well, it's very much welcome. Drop it in the comments below as well. We also are here to learn. Well, me, basically. So, yeah. So to close off, please do follow me on all my social media accounts listed below. Comment below on what you'd like to see next in the next video, and stick around for more content on this channel. I will see you guys later. Bye everybody, and don't forget to follow me.